Hello. My friend Ashley said that she wanted me to come and talk about her and rising youth for 20 minutes. I guess it's nice to see everybody here. It's nice to see different faces. Usually, what I end up doing is I end up going and talking to mostly Indigenous youth who grew up in the community. So I'm glad that this is a little bit different. The organizer here messaged me earlier this week and said, "Hey, do you want to come and speak about mental health awareness and drug awareness?" And I was like, I guess so. But it is nice. It is nice to see everybody here. I was thinking about what I was going to say when I came here, and the question that I wanted to ask is, hands up if you have somebody in your life, in your family, or your friends that are, dealing with mental health issues. What about drug addictions? Now, how many of you are lying about that? Which community is everybody from here? Which neighborhood? Central, EK, South Side, North Side. We got people from the North Side. You guys live in the North End? Cool. I was telling, one of the things that I tell people is that, I grew up in the North End. I've spent the majority of my life in the North End, and growing up when we were kids, we didn't really see no newcomers. It was mostly Indigenous folks that we lived with in our neighborhood. In Central, in the West End, in the North End, all of the hoods basically, we mostly grew up with just Indigenous folks, and that's the way that it looked, right? And so over the last 10, 15 years, our communities have started to change. And so the way that, when I tell my story is, I've grown up on pretty much every single street that you can think of in the North End, from Dufferin to Dufferin to Mountain, from Maine to McGregor, 2 times, 3 times, 1 time, 3 times. I've been to every single school. We grew up poor in our neighborhood, and my family has pretty much gone through just about every single thing that you can think of when it comes to living in the inner city of Winnipeg. So drugs, gangs, violence, alcohol, abuse, every single thing that you can think of, my family has been through that. And so one of the things that I've realized over the past couple of years is to be able to make friendships with people that are different than what I look like. I don't know, how many of you here know Mandela Couette? So even with Mandela, me and him are the same age, and we grew up playing basketball at the Merc just up here on Langside. And for him, his story is pretty much the same as my story. It's a little bit different, but it's very much the same thing where, we've faced the same challenges as people, but we haven't had the opportunity to have conversations with each other. So you think about, what is it like in my family? What is it like in my community? What are my people dealing with right now? The people that live in my neighborhood and the people that live in my community, what are they dealing with? And there's people that come from other countries that come to Canada, that have a history of PTSD, they have a history of trauma, and you mix that in with our history of trauma and our history of PTSD, and then basically what you have is a perfect storm to be able to get into, drug abuse, selling drugs, gangs, violence, all of these things, and we don't necessarily know the struggles of each other because we haven't been able to sit down and have conversations like this, right? Where we're actually having a conversation about what does our community look like and what do we want it to look like.